Dalam perkembangan berasingan dengan ini tegaskan hukuman denda sehingga RM50,000 menanti penyebar berita yang tidak sahih sehingga mencetuskan keresahan dan suasana panik di kalangan masyarakat. Sehubungan itu, beliau mengingatkan orang ramai agar tidak menyebarkan dakwaan
In today's modern world, the spread of information from one person to another person has become incredibly fast and easy through various social media platforms. However, behind this convenience, the rapid circulation of fake news and misleading videos which can trigger public panic and confusion within a very short time. In response to this growing threat, the Malaysian government at that time has introduced specific law in 2018 known as the Anti-Fake News Act 2018, or also known as the AFNA 2018, which is the act was designed as a direct response to the increasing number of fake news cases that were believed to endanger social harmony, national security and public order. However, AFNA 2018 quickly became one of the most controversial pieces of legislation in Malaysia. It received strong negative reaction because many viewed the act as granting excessive power to the government in defining what constitutes fake news. This raised serious concerns that the law could potentially be used to restrict freedom of speech, suppress criticism, and tighten governmental control over the media.
Chronology and legal context. To understand the gravity of this case, we must look back at April 2018. The Anti-Fake News Act, or Act 803, was fast-tracked and passed by the Malaysian Parliament just before the 40th general election. This timing alone sparked an immediate debate on the government's true intentions. Under Section 2 of the Act, fake news was given an incredibly broad definition. It covered any news, information, data or reports that were wholly or partly false, whether it was a news article, a manipulated visual or a voice recording. If the authorities deemed portion of it untrue, it fell under this law. Furthermore, the Act claimed extra-territorial jurisdiction, meaning it could be applied to anyone, anywhere in the world, as long as the information affected Malaysia. Parties involved in the first conviction. The reach of this law extends far beyond individual social media users. It placed a massive burden on media organizations and digital platform providers. According to Section 6, any party providing a platform such as news portals or forum admins had a legal and ethical obligation to remove content deemed fake immediately. Failure to do so could result in a fine of up to RM100,000. The reality of this law was felt almost instantly. The first person to be convicted was not a local politician but a Danish national. He was fined RM10,000 after he posted a video on YouTube criticizing the police response time during a shooting incident in Kuala Lumpur. This case proved that the law was active and the penalties were real, creating an atmosphere of caution across the digital landscape.
Professional ethical issue. The introduction of Act 803 brought several significant professional ethical dilemmas to the surface. One of the most prominent issues was the conflict between freedom of expression and the control of information. From an ethical standpoint, journalists have a duty to report the truth. However, the threat of a fine of up to 500,000 ringgit and a prison sentence of up to 6 years created what is known as a chilling effect. As a result, media professionals were placed in a difficult position. They had to decide whether to continue investigating and reporting on high-level corruption and sensitive issues or to practice self-censorship in order to avoid potential legal consequences from the state. Conflict of interest and the repeal. Another significant ethical concern that emerged was the issue of conflict of interest. In a democratic society, the determination of truth should not rest solely in the hands of those in power. However, Act 803 effectively allowed the government of the day to act as an ultimate arbiter of what is considered true or false. The raised concerns that the law could be misused as a shield to conceal political scandals, rather than serving as a mechanism to protect the public interest. Following the change in administration in 2018, the restoration of media freedom became a key priority. After a prolonged legislative process and debate, the Anti-Fake News Act was eventually repealed in December 2019. Although its existence was brief, it serves as important lessons in professional ethics, particularly on the dangers of allowing legislation to monopolize the definition of truth at the expense of democratic transparency.
From a professional ethics perspective, several key principles can be identified in the Anti-Fake News Act 2018 case. One of the main principles is integrity, which refers to honesty and accuracy in delivering information. This is essential in the media fields as the public relies on trustworthy information. Another principle is accountability, where individuals and organizations are responsible for the information they share. However, the Act was criticized because the power to define what is true or false largely depended on authorities. The principle of professional independence was also affected as journalists and media practitioners face pressure and legal risks which could limit free and objective reporting. In conclusion, although the Act aimed to control misinformation, it created significant ethical challenges to key professional principles.
If we evaluate this case further, it becomes clear that although the intention of the Anti-Fake News Act 2018 was to curb misinformation, its implementation raised several ethical concerns. One major issue is related to transparency and fairness. The broad definition of fake news created uncertainty in enforcement, which led to perception and inconsistency and possible influence by authority. The situation also raised concern about misuse of power and reduced public trust in media and institutions. From a constructive ethical perspective, this issue could have been handled in a more balanced way. Instead of relying mainly on strict legal punishment, a multi-stakeholder approach involving journalists, legal experts, academics, and civil society could have been used to establish clearer and fairer guidelines on misinformation. In addition, strengthening fact-checking system and promoting digital literacy education would help address fake news more effectively without restricting freedom of expression. If these ethical measures had been implemented earlier, the outcome would likely be better, with less controversy, stronger public trust, and a healthier balance between national security and media freedom. Ultimately, this case shows that ethical governance is not only about enforcing laws, but also about ensuring fairness, transparency, and accountability in decision making.
From this case, there are several important reflections and lessons that can be learned. First, the Anti-Fake News Act 2018 demonstrates how powerful information can be in shaping public opinion and social stability. News spreads extremely fast. Because of this, professionals must recognize that sharing information is an ethical responsibility. While freedom of speech is a fundamental democratic right, it should not be misused to spread false or misleading information. At the same time, authorities must also avoid abusing legal power in ways that could silence criticism or restrict media freedom. This case teaches us that ethical decision-making must always consider both public protection and individual rights. To strengthen ethical practices, several improvements can be suggested. Firstly, organizations should provide continuous ethics training and digital literacy programs to help professionals identify misinformation and understand responsible communication practices. Secondly, independent fact-checking bodies should be strengthened to ensure information verification is done fairly and without political influence. Thirdly, governments and media institutions should work together with civil society and technology platforms to create transparent guidelines for handling fake news while still protecting freedom of expression.
Through my experience in this course, I have come to understand the importance of professional ethics in guiding our action with honesty, integrity and responsibility. Professional ethics help build trust, promote fairness and create a positive working environment. At the same time, working in a group has taught me valuable lessons about teamwork, communication and mutual respect. Each team member contribute different ideas and strengths, allowing us to learn from one another and achieve our goals together.
Professional ethics serve as the fundamental guiding principles that dictate how an individual conducts themselves in a workspace or industry. They are the benchmark for sustainable success and healthy professional relationships. By working in a group, I realized that many things cannot be done alone. It is essential to have someone that can be relied on. As a conclusion, two heads are better than one.
Through this documentary project, I learned that professionals' ethics are very important in ensuring honesty, responsibility, and fairness when sharing information with the public. This case also showed me how ethics can influence trust and professionalism in society. Besides that, working in a group taught me the importance of teamwork, communication, and respecting each other's opinion. By cooperating and supporting one another, we were able to complete this assignment successfully.
To sum up all this project helped me to understand how important professional ethics in shaping responsible behavior, especially when dealing with information that can affect others. Ethics reminds us to act with integrity, honesty, and accountability. At the same time, working in a team taught me the ethic values like respect, communication, and responsibility are crucial for building trust and ensuring that everyone contributes effectively toward the common goals.
I have learned that professional ethics are not only important in the workplace but also in our daily responsibilities and decision making. Values such as discipline, integrity, and responsibility help individuals perform their duties in a proper and professional manner. Besides that, working in a group has taught me that every member plays an important role in achieving a common goal. I also learned that listening to different opinions and being open to suggestions can improve the quality of work and strengthen teamwork. Overall, this experience has helped me develop better communication skills and given me a better understanding of the importance of professionalism and cooperation.
Good day everyone. Through this course, I have learned that professional ethics are essential in guiding our actions, decisions and responsibilities. Being honest, respectful and accountable helps build trust and professionalism. In addition, my experience working in a group taught me the importance of communication, cooperation and mutual support. Although we faced some challenges, we were able to overcome them by working together and respecting each other's opinions. Overall, this experience have helped me grow both personally and professionally. Thank you.